All right, hi everyone. This is Derek here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Obviously, I'm a small-time business owner, self-employed in Ettrick, Wisconsin. Um, Here today to talk to you about essentially, obviously, a lot of us are still kind of going through it. So this is kind of some advice for you if you don't have this. But if you do, I'm glad for you. But I'm talking to the people that don't, essentially. So, what I'm going to talk today about is creating your own assets, essentially. So, if you're a person, obviously, that's works a job or has got fired, laid off, whatever the case may be, um, it's probably a good time to start thinking about creating your own assets, essentially. So, obviously, um, the situation in the United States seems to continue essentially because of what's going on. There's a bigger problem that's been going on for a long time, essentially. But the strongest thing is to start creating your own assets. So a good example is what I do is I sell car parts. So if you're an automotive mechanic or you have an automotive background, that might be something you might be interested in. I got parts up on the shelf here. As you can see that engine hood right there. But essentially, you could do a YouTube channel. It takes some time. It probably takes roughly a year to actually get paid, and if people are actually viewing it and stuff. But the fastest way to realistically create an asset, unless you have money put aside, savings, whatever the case may be. Obviously, if you own land and stuff like that, yes, that's a lot better essentially. Then you can kind of put an LLC or a business on your property essentially. And that's another thing too. That's another story about reducing your taxes with that. But essentially, if you're a person that rents, doesn't own very much, I think the fastest realistic way to make money for yourself is obviously the internet, and I emphasize that I guess quite a bit because essentially you can sell anything anywhere in the world if you want to sell products. I mean that's usually the fastest way to make money is selling items, stuff you don't need or someone else that needs it. And essentially another way would be a service of some type. So I don't know if you're house cleaning, carpentry, obviously me wrenching tools. If you have a lawnmower, obviously you can mow grass, whatever the case may be. So if you need income outside of a job, or like it says you've been laid off or you got fired or whatever the case is, don't depend on a paycheck necessarily. I've been there, I've been an employee, I'm technically still am an employee, but I rely on myself. I rely on my income. Essentially, I, I don't make a whole crazy lot of money. Yes, it does take time and it takes dedication, essentially, to build assets to, and I will tell you that. So it's not going to be an easy thing, especially um, with Amazon too. I'm not saying anything against that. It's a very competitive market with that too. But essentially, whatever fits you best and however you can make money consistently, all you really need is cash flow, essentially, then you're in pretty good shape. But otherwise, the websites that a lot of people use, obviously, still to this day, is Craigslist. Obviously, very common in the United States here, in which I live. Essentially, Facebook still is. They got a very good marketplace platform, which I agree. That's the only really realistic thing I like about Facebook. Obviously, OfferUp is another web selling platform essentially that uh, mainly stuff and whatever. But obviously, eBay, if you want to sell more car part stuff, I mean, there is other jewelry stuff, furniture, whatever. But become the skill of your trade. Become what you're knowledgeable about, and be a pro at it, essentially. Be as good as you can at it. So, um, like I says, don't depend on the government to help you, because the situation, honestly, in the United States is is a bigger problem than you really think you can imagine. So if you think your job is safe, even though if you are still working a job, it might not be safe as long as you think about it. So if you don't have any business or side hustles or anything asset wise outside of a job, you're in trouble. So I will guarantee you on that you are in trouble if you do not change this here, essentially. So it sounds scary at first, obviously, if you've never been a business in your life, or if you've never done anything outside of a job. Take it, take it piece by piece. I mean, if you are still working a job, work on that side hustle, work on that business, work on that service. Essentially, just do it, and you'll be surprised that maybe maybe I should become more of an entrepreneur, essentially, and make my own income. So that's kind of my bit of advice for today, essentially. So if you want to keep following me on my YouTube videos, please subscribe, essentially. And remember, um, believe in yourself that you can do whatever you want to do. And the less dependent you are on the government, the paycheck, anyone else, the better off you're going to be. That's essentially what it's going to come down to, essentially. So, thank you, and take care.